Right, we are live, hey guys. How's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads Dinner. We're here for the semi-final, France versus New Zealand. Now, interestingly enough, the last 5 times that these two sides have played, it has been New Zealand every single time getting the victory. But we've already seen France beat Samoa. We've already seen them take down the Fijians, or in fact, sorry, they took down South Africa. So they've been in some pretty good form, and they'll be looking to continue it in this game. Looking through at the French starting lineup, it will be Legel, Zedar, Rebage, Steven Perez, Riva, Epi, and also Pasquet is the other man in that starting lineup. Then for New Zealand will be Regan Ware, Sione Molia, Rockale Soa, Dylan Collier, Sam Dixon, Joe Weber, and Leroy Carter. Now, both of these sides, the winner of it, of course, everyone wants to win, but the winner of this contest will be making their way through to the final to take on either of these two oppositions. First of which, Argentina. Second of which, USA. So we could actually see a men and women's USA versus New Zealand final, depending on how the result of this game goes and depending on how the result of that Argentina-USA match goes for the other semi-final. But currently, these two sides making their way out into a rainy Hamilton field. Unfortunately, the rain has started falling a bit heavier as of late, but the crowds still sound like they're well and truly fired up for this one. And Brandon has said, hey, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. New Zealand on a 4-match winning streak, most recently taken down Ireland in their quarterfinal, winning 10 points to 5. And then also the French, they lost their first game to Fiji, 26-10. Then from there, they beat Samoa, they beat Kenya narrowly, and then they were able to win up against the South Africans in their quarter-final fixture. So both sides looking pretty strong at this point of the competition, both winning their quarterfinals by 5. Ruben Keane, the Australian, in charge of the whistle for this one. And it will be the French who have got themselves the kickoff. But anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Be sure to check out that pinned comment as well. It is to the Kiwi Lads Entertainment channel, our second channel as well. Steven Perez kicking off this semi-final matchup. You'd assume he'd go long here, or relatively long anyway. And he does. Works it down towards the 22, knocked on by France, but Sione Molia takes it nicely. Now looking to find the offload to Leroy Carter. He does just that, and Legel beat him for pace. New Zealand on fire early, and that will be the first try 15 seconds into the game. And New Zealand have already got themselves one in the semi-final. Good start, says John. Brilliant start for New Zealand. Just the knock-on from France, and then nice pass. Sione Molia went to Leroy Carter. He's currently rocking the black headband. So I think he got cut open in the last fixture. But New Zealand goes 7-0 up over the French. Like I mentioned, 15 seconds, all it took for the Kiwis to be able to get themselves their first try of the match. And I mentioned it in the last game. The fact that we've had a little bit of rain just means that we're going to see a lot more sliding from the try scorers. Might make them very happy indeed. I know that as a rugby player, extremely satisfying sliding in for a try. Definitely in a semi-final, but it's going to be a try for New Zealand, 7-0 now. It took them long enough, says John. It took almost a minute to take the kick, whereas it only took 15 seconds to score the try. That was a bit high from Sione Molia. You cannot hop on his back like you're his backpack, mate. But now it's going to be France's ball, sitting about 45 metres out from their own line. Sione Molia taking a few deep breaths. It was a relatively tough run that he did made. France have not advanced to the cup final since Hamilton 2020 and lost versus New Zealand in that game 27 points to 5. Like I mentioned, last 5 times that these two sides have played, we have seen some phenomenal work from the Kiwis, although someone that I will mention who's not there on the field, Grand Didier. He's not on the bench. He's not in the starting lineup. Massive game changer for the French not having him as one of their options. Pauline Riva gets taken down. New Zealand get on the ball, and in fact, it's going to be a knock-on, so New Zealand will now have themselves the scrum. Yeah, Grand Didier, leading try scorer of all of World Sevens for this competition or this league so far, 2022-2023. What I mean by that, New Zealand conceded 6 total tries this weekend, the fewest of any team. So the Kiwis on home soil certainly want to pour it on for their final matches on New Zealand soil for quite some time. New Zealand versus USA, sevens in the final, says Brandon. That is indeed what the women's final is set up to be. New Zealand versus the USA. And then for the men, could be USA versus New Zealand as well. First, New Zealand do need to make sure that they get rid of France, which involves scoring, I would say, at least 4 tries, to be honest. Nice fin from Joe Weber. Draw and pass out to the wing. And now Regan Ware willing to push through. Breaking tackles for fun. Regan Ware in the 3rd minute will score another try. The French are taking each other out like it's 10-pin bowling. And it's going to be the second of the match and the second in Hamilton for number 64, Regan Ware. Joe Weber, nice ball on the outside. Picked the right time to go to Ware. He could have gone earlier, but it may have led to a problem for the Kiwis. And it's good doing rugby again, this to me, says Brandon. It's going to be a great try for New Zealand. Just about got cleaned up while he was gliding through the air. But great work by the experienced number 64. Kicking attempt for New Zealand, successful, straight out in front. That's going to make the score now 14 points to 0 in favour of the Kiwis. There are a lot of people with Joe Weber masks in the crowd. In fact, I think they were the same people who had Joe Weber masks yesterday. Hopefully they are waterproof with the rain falling. New Zealand try and kick at the 10. I don't think it quite travelled the 10 metres there. They should be going back to halfway for France. And also, when is Fiji women, says Stephen. I know that they lost their game, unfortunately, up against the USA. So, one moment. I'll quickly find out exactly when they are playing for you. We'll go here. Women's match centre. Great Britain versus Fiji is actually happening at the moment. Their 5th place semi-final. So, we'll keep you updated with the score in that game while it's taking place. I really hate the fact that so many games overlap. I feel like it takes away from some of the other sides that are in action. Like, I would have loved to watch that game between Fiji and Great Britain. They've got the semi-final on at the time that it starts. The Springboks win to Ireland, says Brandon. In fact, Springboks lost up against Ireland in their game, and that's going to be the penalty to New Zealand. 2 minutes left of the first half. Sam Dixon takes the quick tap. New Zealand leading quite nicely here, 14 points to 0. Rockali Soa backs his pace, breaks a tackle, finds the offload. Dylan Collier tries to get his away to Leroy Carter. A little bit scrappy from New Zealand, but Carter up the middle. No one there. And it's going to be another try for New Zealand. They are slaughtering the French in the semi-final. Second try of Hamilton. Second try of the match for Leroy Carter there. It's a shame that, like I was mentioning, so many games overlap. Like Samoa versus Great Britain. I would have loved to watch that game. Samoa, Spain, brilliant fixture as well. But you just don't get to see those games. Tonga versus Australia, I think that was on, but Tonga versus someone else when they drew versus Great Britain. They didn't show that one for us here in New Zealand. Kick is going to be successful again. Some deep breaths being taken by Leroy Carter, but New Zealand up 21 points to 0 over the French. Extremely well done by the home side here. Rockali Soa getting ready to go. Taking some deep breaths, kicking off high. 40 seconds left of the half. New Zealand retain the kick again. Although this time Sam Dixon, a little knock on the ground there. Isn't Great Britain next, says Stephen Pope. So I believe Samoa, Great Britain in the men's is going to be coming up very soon. 9th place semi-final. Sorry, it's actually Samoa versus Kenya, I should say, rather. And also ITKL, says Jason in there. But yeah, Samoa, Kenya will be taking place at 4:34 New Zealand time. We will be covering that one on the channel. Okay, asking for a clear gap there. New Zealand going down the front row. Got to feed this ball in. Running out of time in this first half for France. But of course, the rule of thumb is if you can get a certain number of tries in a first half, your opposition can get that same number in the second. I want all game overlap. Should be on Sky Sports 2, says Brandon. And I've actually, to be honest, I've been disappointed with the lack of coverage of the second field. Because they've got a camera on that field, right? So all they need to do is every 3 or 4 minutes, pop a little picture in the screen or give a score update of what's happened in that game up till that point. Like, that's all you got to do. But they've decided not to do that, which I don't really understand, to be honest. They've got their Dusamo still have a chance. Unfortunately, they cannot get in the top 8, but they have got a playoff game up against Kenya for them to finish 9th. And that game's just an hour and a half away. We will be covering it on the channel, so be sure to tune in for that one as well. Keeping it. It's the comment from Dylan Collier. New Zealand, they know that, yes, they've got 3 tries on the board, 3 very good tries, but France are not going to be out of this contest yet. Man, that guy's hard to understand. He's the New Zealand assistant coach or the head coach, but I couldn't understand a word that he said. That's why I was listening so intently. I was trying to work out what the team talk was. I got none of it. Also, who win in the 2 a.m. game last night? The Harlequins managed to get themselves the win, 39 points to 29 in that one. Currently, New Zealand sitting 21-0 up over France. We'll be looking for a big fight back in the second half. I mentioned the fact that they are missing one of their stars, Grand Didier. He may not have been able to change this game to the point of 21 extra on the board for France, but it still would have been nice to see him playing in this contest. They've still got Carroll off the bench. He's been pretty good for them in recent games. Iragua, Hayard, and Dorian, and alongside him, Fauna. Also there, it's going to be kicked off long by New Zealand, going for the territory game, and it's a brilliant kick. Just 5 meters out from their own line now. Sam Dixon putting the pressure on, just jumps on top of Zadar. Now New Zealand, the goal will be to keep France inside at their own 22. It goes to a penalty though, but Riva takes it quickly. Bit risky from France, but want to keep this game alive and saw a bit of a gap opening up for Rabage. Almost through. Taken down nicely. Now, be stepping around the side here. The number 8. I believe that would have been Zadar again. New Zealand get the clean turnover. Now Leroy Carter. Already scored 2 in this match. Looking for a hat-trick perhaps. Just like we've seen from a few other Kiwis. We've seen Sheree Kaka actually recently getting herself a hat-trick. Here comes Rockali Soa through the gap. Scores again. New Zealand are on fire at the moment in Hamilton. They just don't seem like they are losing any pace at all, any fitness. Seem like they're all just continuing to go at that frantic pace, willing to get in the breakdowns and get the turnover. New Zealand should win New Zealand Sevens, then Australia Sevens win in Australia. Here's a Brandon as well. What a great step. And Rockali Soa does go in, gets himself his first try of the semi-final, and I think this one's almost done and dusted. I don't want to rule France out, but 4 tries down, if this is successfully converted, it's just a case more of how much are France going to lose by. This is when they come back and get 4 tries and then win the game, because that is a misconversion. So 4 converted tries for France, they win, and I will look like a goose, or more of a goose than I already do. And I think New Zealand going to win in Hamilton, says Jason. Is that for the men, women, or both? Jason, let me know. And I hope USA win 1 sevens, says Brandon. Currently 5 minutes left. France once again find themselves inside of their 22. Pauline Riva, they've got numbers on the left-hand side if they decide to use them, but Rabage goes on the inside instead to Carol. Now nice pass. Riva again moves up to halfway. New Zealand having to defend quick and make those decisions early. Now rough pass. Sits up. Back across now. New Zealand. One more pass could have been on, but forced into touch. Brilliant work from New Zealand men, says Jason. And there as well, Shay Clark recently coming out on the field, putting in a big hit on the French winger. Both, says Cooper Cronk. And there as well. It was a good bit of size, or a good bit of strength, I should say, for Joe Weber in that one. And then trying to find that offload Pasquet, just forced out. New Zealand now will have the line out. Time on, 4.5 minutes left. Retained by the Kiwis. That one almost hit the referees for Rockali Soa. Back across to Narohi McGarvey Black, coming back for another penalty this time. Just for a late tackle. New Zealand, they can use up more time on the clock if they really want to here, which I believe they will. Now, Rohi McCarvey Black kicking this one downfield, looking for the touchline. He does manage to find it as well. If we win, who we come up against their Spider Mix. So the winner of this game will face up against the winner of Argentina USA. So I would say at this point, I mean, USA have been New Zealand's dark horse before, same with Argentina. I think the crowd will much more enjoy a New Zealand-Argentina final, more than likely. But, I mean, that definitely accept New Zealand-USA as well, seeing as it is what we have got for the women's. And can you please cover final for the women? We are going to be covering the women's final. Down the wing, Roderick Solo, offload. Now, Rohi McCarvey Black cleans up Iraguha, puts in some good effort. Oh, they've said he's knocked it on, did he, though? I think he was a little bit unfortunate for that one. New Zealand going to the final. I'm calling it now, says John. You're a smart man, John. We've got a good chance at the moment, unless France go absolutely like supersonic and score a whole heap of tries in a hurry. She's going to be a New Zealand final. Both New Zealand sides making it through to the final as well. And that was the case. Now scrum feed for New Zealand. Time is still on, so 3 minutes left in this matchup. Anyone who is new to the channel, I should mention, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to check out the Kiwi Lads second channel. It is the Kiwi Lads Entertainment. We've got some weird videos over there. A little bit of gaming, a little bit of random real life stuff as well. So be sure to check out that link. The goal was 315 subscribers by the end of the day, and we're currently 4 away. So if you do want to help us out, it is very hugely appreciated. It is going to be Rocaliso now putting the ball in now. Rohi McCarvey Black. The offload comes out the back and it's picked up by Iraguha. Now looking to go through up to the halfway line. Good tackle by McCarvey Black. Wrestled down. Little bit of push and shove as well. It's a big man, Dorian. I don't know if he's the one you want to be fighting with. Knock on. Penalty goes the way of New Zealand. Double blow the whistle and it's all on for young and old. It's a scrap out there on the field. Now Rohi McCarvey Black, he's still fired up from earlier on with Dorian. And I believe someone might be going to the bin here for fighting. So, Rohi McCarvey Black, he wasn't happy because he got taken out off the ball. And then there was just a little bit of that memory kicking in. So, yeah, Amanaki Nicole, he was dropped by Dorian, who got slammed down. Here they are. They're just showing it again here. Garvey Black got taken out. Little bit of a wrestle, and then Amanaki Nicole, he came back in through the side, took him out, and then Naroi McGarvey Black really drove in. So I'm wondering whether he's going to end up with a yellow card as well. Go New Zealand, says Annie, the host of the winners, and Dirty Filthy French. Should be a red card, says John. Sounds like it's going to be a yellow card for France, for Dorian. He's going to be going off the field. He's a switch under boxing, although you'd have to wonder how strong McGarvey Black's chin is, because Dorian's a big bloke. Like, he's solid, built like a brick house. And that's going to be Pauline River actually getting a yellow card as well. Okay, I can understand the first one, but if River's getting a yellow card, I feel it's only fair that New Zealand actually had a yellow card for Narohi McGarvey Black, the way that he also came in and instigated a little bit of it, you know? And just saw that call in the USA-Australia game. How is that a knock-on if it's off the leg, isn't it? Says Xavier Brown. So I haven't actually seen that match. I assume you're talking the women's game, aren't you? Which USA ended up winning. I'll have to give that one a look. So it came off the leg and it was called a knock-on, Xavier. Not ideal. Rokali Soa takes the quick tap. Currently New Zealand playing against 5. So they've pretty much just got to spread this one wide. And they should have enough men to be able to get over the try line. Amanaki Nicole, good run, gives it off now to number 2, Brady Rush, tackled nicely and low. Amanaki Nicole goes across to Narohi McGarvey Black. One more on the outside, kicked him behind. Roderick Solo gets the bounce of the ball, slams it down, and the Kiwis are in again. And also we have got the women's game, says Xavier. New Zealand, they score their 5th of the match now. 31 points on the board here for the Kiwis. France, you'd have to say nothing has gone their way in this matchup. And Brandon said, can you read my message? It started again. Says Brandon, is that the rain or the fighting? Ran in. And the comeback by USA in that game, says Annie, and bye-bye Frenchies, says John. Kick's going to go wide, out to the right-hand side, so 31 points to 0. New Zealand's still doing very nicely. And another 45 seconds where France are still down to 5. I think Laborde and also Riva just having a bit of a chat there on the sideline. They're not happy at the moment, you'd have to say, France. The way that they were able to win up against Samoa and then beat South Africa in their next game, the last thing they wanted was to lose a semi-final by 30-plus points. Ball's gone free. Kick 4 from Roderick Solo. Pace for days. Tries to find the ball to Brady Rush. Thought he might have knocked it on, but I believe it hit his knee. And it's raining in Hamilton now. Penalty goes the way of New Zealand. Now Roy McGarvey-Black could have run at the line. Instead passes it wide. Flicks it back. And it's going to be another try. Rockily Soa scores it. He thought about giving the ball to Shea Clark. Shea Clark said, nah, you have it, mate. France versus who? Says Brendan. So France will be playing off against the loser of USA versus Argentina. That will be for third place, the bronze. Sione Molia, who was disappointed. Rockily Soa considered passing it off to Shea Clark. Gets it himself. That is his second of the match as well, I should mention. So we've got 2 players on a hat-trick. Leroy Carter, though, he won't be able to get his as he was taken off the field. I've just heard the siren as well. So I believe there will still be one last play of this match. The kick is successful. That will make it now 38 points to 0. And is that the end of the game? It sure is. New Zealand victorious over the French. 38 points to 0. They'll have a chance of claiming the last New Zealand gold medal that they could get for quite some time on New Zealand soil. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Like I mentioned, be sure to check out that second channel that I have just put the link to in the chat. Our goal was 315 subscribers. We're getting there slowly. So be sure to check that out, but we will be popping back straight away for USA versus Argentina. I will see you all